Okay, so here we have the Atomic Hawx Prime. Now the Hawx Prime is based off the original Hawx boot that Atomic produced, which has been around for years, but the reason this has lasted for so long is the versatility of fit. So we have seen some different upgrades and changes throughout the years to this boot, and this Hawx Prime is the best iteration and version they've created yet. It now does sit in the middle of the Hawx series as a medium fitting all-mountain boot. Now there's several models available in the Hawx Prime. For the women we have an 80 flex, a 90 flex and a 100 flex. And in the men's models there is a 90, 100, 110, 120 and 130. So the Hawx Prime is a medium fitting 100mm last. But what makes this boot so versatile and why it's so popular is it does really have quite a unique combination from a shape perspective in certain key areas. Now if we were to look at a few of these key areas, it is a taller fitting boot. It comes a fair way up the back of the leg, but it is also quite streamlined through the back. It's a cuff that offers great security around the lower leg, but also really awesome heel hold. And what's unique there is it's combining it actually with the front of the boot that has quite a generous instep height, but also good height throughout the whole toe box and forefoot area. So for so many people, this kicks a great goal in how it's going to fit for their feet instantly. And looking at the major features of this boot, it does include memory fit. So that is complete moldability of not just the liner, but also the shell. So even some of those wider feet are going to be able to step into the Atomic Hawx Prime, and once molded they will be happy. One of my favorite features on this boot too is what's known as power shift. Now you can see this plate on the back. What this plate is allowing us to do is to set this boot to 3 different forward lean stance angles. So you can either set this cuff up to be at 13, 15 or 17 degrees, but also we can increase the flex rating by adding a bolt into the back also. And then we move on to the most interesting features on this boot with what's known as sole flex. Now if you were to look at the front of this boot, you can see these ripples or corrugations on either side. Now that is left over from the original Hawx boot design, and what we had there was rubber inserts which created flex zones on either side of the boot. Now this was a design in collaboration with Hireling. If you watch my indie ski boot brands, that's an interesting tidbit for you. But what they've done is actually moved away from these flex zones on either side and moved it down to the sole. But rather it being rubber, what they've gone for is sort of a softer compound through the sole. And what it's actually doing, it's not a huge amount, but it's allowing the boot to flex with the ski as you've got it up on edge. Now, I was pretty skeptical of this at first, but actually after taking this boot out for a ski, I could feel the difference in response and think it is a really cool thing they've added. Looking at the inside of this boot, let's break down the liners. Now, depending on which model of Hawx Prime you go for will determine which level of liner you get, whether it be bronze, silver, gold or platinum liner. Now they are all memory fit liners. There is pre-shaped 3D heel pocket and ankles in there. Also it's fully insulated with thinsulate material. We have an instep window in the top of the tongue to help with the blood flow. Also a strap on the front and back to give you great leverage stepping into the boot, and a spoiler attached by Velcro on the back. Now boot board wise, we do have a plastic boot board in the base. Now this is a great improvement from the original Hawx. What they first used to have in it was just sort of a plastic sleeve with a little chunk in the heel. So going to a full boot board is a vast improvement. Stance wise, we're looking at 5 degrees on the ramp angle on this boot board. So quite a good versatile stance range with 5 degrees of ramp angle in the base, 13, 15 or 17 degrees from the forward lean in the cuff. So overall, this boot is a real winner. I really like what Atomic bring to the table. They're always looking to innovate and put new things into their boots. But there's no reason to really change the Hawx shape at all. It fits so many people, it's their best seller, and for great reason. If I was to criticize anything on it, it's just be the fixed rivets on the power strap. I wish that was more easily changed. And also I hope they swap out that boot board for a more rubberized one, but that's a very simple change. That would just take this boot to the next level, I feel. So no matter what type of skiing you're doing, whether that be solid carving, big mountain, park skiing, this can handle it all. Also, it is really robust from what we can do to set it up fit-wise. From all your stance angles as well as moldability, this is an awesome boot. So, stoke meter is getting pretty high today. I'm going to give this one a rating of 8.5. Thanks guys, catch you in the next review.